Well, the Conservative Party has crushed the record for political party membership in this country. The party announced just before Canada Day that it had signed up about 675,000 new members. That is more than doubling the previous record set by the Conservatives in the last leadership race, when the party counted nearly 270,000 members. The leadership campaigns have until midnight to challenge the names on this preliminary list, and they can also use the information to start trying to win over more supporters. Here to talk about it all, Melanie Paradis is president at Texture Communications. She previously served as deputy campaign director to Erin O'Toole. Rudy Husney is a former leadership candidate and advisor to former Prime Minister Stephen Harper. Welcome to you both. Lots to talk about here. Melanie, I want to start with you and the big picture. It's obviously a very big number, one that the Conservative Party is quite proud of. What does it mean? What does it tell us about what's happening in this campaign?
Well, I think it means that people across Canada are really excited about this leadership race, more than they have been in the last two in the past 5 years. The fact that we have more than doubled our membership, this is now the largest paid party membership in the country's history, and it may actually be the largest membership period in Canadian history, even if you included those that aren't all paid. So I think it shows that there's a lot of excitement. There are people who are highly motivated to sign up and who want to have a say in choosing our next leader.
Rudy, the party won't give us a breakdown of how many votes come from each campaign. We know that there are claims that some campaigns have made. What, though, do you think we can glean from this information about how the race is going and who's doing well?
I mean, if there's one thing for sure, is that there's going to be 675,000 lucky Canadians that are going to receive a lot of phone calls, a lot of text message, people showing up at their door and making sure that they vote in this leadership race.
You're going to feel very popular if you're on that list, right?
Yeah, you're going to be very, very popular. Lots of emails, lots of love, lots of communication. Mm-hmm. Now the question is, who sign up the most important ridings in terms of having the points? Because it's not only the level and the number of members that it's important, it's how many points. And as you know, there's ridings that have an average of 4,000 members, but there's some ridings that have an average of 200 members. But at the end, it's the same number of points. So the goal is to make sure that you have people vote. That's rule number one. And second of all, that you are able to get recruited members in those key ridings where you need the points, especially, for example, in Quebec and in Ontario, where there's the most ridings.
Melanie, I know you were saying to me just before we started that you have a little bit of information, some suggestion about where some of this support might be the highest. What are you hearing? We should say this isn't information that the party itself has put out publicly, but obviously you're both connected. That's why we have you on the panel. What are you hearing, Melanie?
That's right. So Rudy and I have heard the same information, and that's that the 675,000 number. What's really interesting is about 450,000 of those members are divided up into only 100 ridings. And 100,000 of that 450 is in just 20 ridings. What's interesting about that is 20 ridings is 2,000 points. You need 16,000 points to win. But if you take a look at Quebec, and this is the part that really kind of blew my mind when I heard it, apparently the party has sold 56,000 memberships in Quebec, which is unprecedented for our party there. We know at the close of membership sales that Pierre Poilievre's team said on the record that they had sold 25,000 memberships in Quebec, which means they have about 40% in Quebec. Now, Quebec's points, it's 7,800 points. I know I'm getting into the weeds here for viewers, but it's about half of, Quebec alone is about half of what you need to win the leadership. So in my read of these numbers is this is very much still in play.
Okay, so Rudy, I'm going to give you a very difficult task here because Melanie's sort of given us like the state of play there. For anybody who heard those numbers and sort of started to lose perspective on all this, Melanie's saying it's very much still at play. What is the big takeaway for you in all of this in terms of like what happens now and what it means for keeping this race still in play, or if you're Pierre Poilievre's team, I guess, trying to shut that down?
Look, there's two things going on right now. So it's a battle of miscommunication, I would call it, because everybody is trying to put their name, put their number forward. You can sometimes have a doubt in terms of if their numbers are correct or if they will say that they have enough points to win. But another important thing is that we don't know yet. For example, some people have speculated that maybe some people will drop from the race. Patrick Brown was on that show, was on your show, I believe, last week. Didn't confirm that he hasn't ruled out running again to become mayor of Brampton. So who's going to be on the final ballot? That's an important question. And also, there's going to be a debate that's going to happen next Friday. Pierre Poilievre is not participating, but it's still an important debate because, as you know, you also need to have the vote number 2 or the vote number 3. So there's going to be a lot of communication in terms of saying, okay, if you don't want to put my name first, can you please put it second or third to make sure that because it's a preferential ballot, to see, who has a path to victory. So that's basically what's at play now. Who's going to make it to the final list and until September 10th, but also the communication that are going to happen to maybe recruit or have other candidates maybe support or tell members, please rank me second or third.
So the persuasion continues. Melanie, there is a lot, I was part of that briefing that the party gave last week about these numbers. Obviously, there's a lot for Conservatives to be excited about, but there is another side to this. You have a prominent voice in the party, Marjorie Le Breton, somebody, close with Stephen Harper, Melanie, who has come out and said that she doesn't necessarily feel like she is a part of the Conservative Party as it stands right now. That, she worries about this becoming a party of grievance. What do you say about that, I guess, way of thinking and somebody prominent in the movement making that claim?
Well, I think that during our leadership races, and again, we've had a couple of them now the past couple of years, we always have people come out of the woodwork and share their concerns, especially around the vitriol in our leadership races that we've seen, and in this one in particular, but also some of the decisions that candidates are making in this case about taking pictures with and walking with members of convoy protests. But actually, Patrick Brown published an op-ed today in the National Post later this afternoon. I'm assuming it'll be in the paper tomorrow, where he speaks about the same issue and the need to elect a leader who can win the general election and who won't have turned off a lot of Canadians by taking some of these positions on the convoy in particular. But at the same time, the decision to support convoy members is completely strategic. You need to keep people who you've sold memberships to motivated throughout the summer, especially now that mandates are mostly over. There's not a lot left that's motivating people that perhaps was a big issue for them a couple of months ago. We saw how that played out provincially in the Ontario election, where that was kind of a non-issue. And as a result, the lesser parties like the New Blue Party and whatever they're called at the provincial level, they didn't really have an impact.
Okay, we are going to leave the discussion there for today. It is obviously a very compelling race to watch. We appreciate both of you giving us some insight and helping us make sense of these numbers. Melanie, Rudy, thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Vashi Capellos, host of Power in Politics. See more of our show by subscribing to the CBC News channel or click the link for another video.